Oh, I just finished listening to the last podcast, and yeah, it's funny.
So, was I fair enough for the Battlefront 2 stuff? Because I was.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I was worried while I was saying. I was like, because it's Star Wars. Like, I don't want Joel to think I'm just picking on Star Wars when that's really not.
Oh no,
like,
no. Well, you didn't really pick on anything actually Star Wars related. You were just picking on mostly things that are stupid to put in games. So
Thank
that's
you.
Totally fine.
We are on this.
Yeah. I will say I'm very excited that you're on the same page with us and getting annoyed as much as we are finally with loot crates.
It was because I was a little bit behind you guys.
It never affected you. That's why.
I was a little bit behind you guys, but the straw broke the camel's back.
Yeah,
and now I am so bitter.
and it's funny because I think
I'm getting older.
James said towards the end of the podcast, I think I might have like 10 minutes left or something like that, but he said at the end was like, if we saw this coming a long time ago, and it's like, I remember seeing this trend 6-7 years ago, just like mostly with mobile games. And I remember being really terrified once mobile games went down to free, because basically what that means is, our game is shit, but we're going to include a ton of microtransactions so you can do anything in the game. Like even
except you pay full price now.
I know,
and still have to buy more stuff.
Here's an amazing app that came out. It's an actual full game. It's Professor Layton, right?
Right.
Here's what's really interesting. Nobody on mobile will ever pay $60 for a game. No one. Even if the game is totally worth it, okay? And Professor Layton is worth $60. It is a $60 AAA game, okay, on your phone. But since no one in the hell is going to freaking buy a game that cheap on a phone, they had to get the price down. Well, here's the problem. That game is also going to come out in 3DS very soon. So what does that mean? What they did was a really cool idea. What they did on the phone is it's the entire game. The only thing they took out that's included all in the 3DS is if you want to change costumes or something like that. That's all on the 3DS and a couple of little minor things that are side parts of the game. They stripped that out so that they could get the price down to, I think it was $15. But it does not affect the game at all. It's not like a roulette, but it was a way to get the price down so you can have a full triple game. It's not like you play one mission, you have to pay $3.99 to get the next mission. You have the entire game. And I thought that was really smart because I was like, I'd be willing to pay a lot of money for it because I love Professor Layton and it's a worthwhile AAA game. But today's age, no one is going to pay that for an app, especially when you can get, Peggle for free, except, after the second map, you're paying $15 for crystals or whatever, So,
well, that's not the premium currency; those are diamonds.
yeah. I loved how angry I was getting out of the crystals.
No, because this games do this already. I don't think the UI is that great. Like already, there's some irritation there with the whole like after match screen, but then they make it worse by like coming up with competing currencies for things. Like, give me 1 hour to understand that system, I guarantee you can come up with something that makes more sense than that. Like, stop trying to make it special. Everybody knows what it is. Have a little virtual lever that you click and drag down to flip the slot machine and just make it make it the real deal.
I'm glad. Let's just get this out before we start the podcast, so it's not a loot crates effing again. But hopefully the trend will get to a breaking point. But I think I was fearful of this a long time ago because of mobile games, and I was scared that's going to really affect console games because they're going, oh, hey, we can drip feed you extra features. And guess what? They're doing it. Like they're just kind of going, oh, hey, you know how you could usually level up within 15 hours? No. We're going to drop that back to a good 60 hours. Then you can get all your stuff.
I don't mind developers making new content.
Yeah.
And then charging, a little bit here and there for it. But when they're giving you broken games or games that, like they're taking out features knowing that they'll get you to pay for it, that pisses me off.
I want to own something, you know what I mean? Like even with the Professor Layton game, Joy and I, we actually discussed it because we're both been playing the game, and we're like, it feels good to buy something and know you have it. You don't have the broken apart version or the one that is going to give you ads for a slightly free version where it's like, I got it, I'm done, I paid for it, I appreciate, there's great development, thanks, can I just play your damn game now? Can I not jump through these hoops? Yeah, and I think even with Star Wars, I hate the crap that's in it. I hate it so much. I hated it for Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, any of those random crap stuff. It's stupid.
But see, in those it was easier to ignore in those though. Like Like, I really do feel like the reason I'm ticked about it now, Battlefield 1 wasn't nearly this bad, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, because you didn't have to, they're just stupid skins.
Right.
But like
It
this
was
one, I know
cosmetics,
you have to get it. Yeah.
right. That's the thing. Again,
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty consistent in the sense that anything that's a cosmetic or doesn't change the gameplay, or if you're in a single player game, you make it optional. As long as it's not annoying and it doesn't affect your actual game experience, that's okay. Like that's. Even if I don't like it, I'm okay with it. It's when it breaches into multiplayer and it's literally like, hey, you paid $60 for a game? Well, if you don't pay more, you're going to be behind everyone on day one.
I hate that too, but I guess what I sometimes I feel like I wonder if you miss, I don't know, is that, like, great, if they stay at like that, sure, that's fine. Keep that area for the people that love costumes and all that crap, right? But to me, I see it as, oh, no, this is just a foot in the door that says, oh, we'll try it out here. Then we'll add a little bit more. We'll add a little more. And that's exactly what game developers have done, is they just keep adding more and this, more and this. And now they're getting rid of mods to mod a track in Forza 7 to, like, change the setting. It's like, why do you have to, like, with the Battlefield 1 loot crates, it was so stupid. You get stupid skins. You have to see a stupid animation with freaking loud sounds. Like, it's so juvenile, I think, extremely juvenile. And it reminds me of seeing the pathetic people in Vegas when I went there many times to visit my aunt and uncle. We would go into various hotels. And I remember just watching, because my mom, we would, eat at some certain places. And it was always fun seeing the casinos, because it's just a weird world, right? But it was so pathetic. You seeing these people, and they're just sitting there with a drink by the side, and they have this face of like, just one more, man. I know, just one more. And it's like, it's so addicting, and it's just preying upon the people that, because there's a part of it is fun seeing, like, what are you gonna get? Again, like, it goes back to Zelda in a lot of games. There's always treasure chests, but they're turning it into minuscule things that you could have had from the very start.
Did you do much gambling in Borderlands 2?
Yeah, we would do that a little bit, mostly because I enjoyed the funny stuff that would happen. Like, people would comment,
Yeah.
But I mean, not for very long at all. Yeah, it's just, it's pathetic, I think. I love everything about the game, though. I'm really enjoying it. I agree with all of you guys about the graphics option. I don't think the game actually looks worse than 1, but I do think all the, like, crazy particles and that weird, lens thing, like, there's parts of it that can kind of look kind of neat, but I'm like, no, just I'll get rid of that.
Well,
I'm totally fine with that.
Like the chromatic aberration is just one of those things. Make it as easy as it's a post-processing effect. It's not an integral part of the game engine. So just let people turn it off. Like, no big deal,
Witcher 3 had it as well, and thankfully, right from launch, you could turn it off along with the vignette.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't even
Turn that
remember
off
it
right
had
away.
it because I turned it off immediately and then never looked back.
Same here.
On May 19th, 2015, I turned it off and never looked back.
Yeah, but Battlefield wasn't downgraded.
I'm going to downgrade you, James.
So, I mean, we're basically in the podcast now. Like, you want to just count that as our loot box rant and just keep on going, or?
Sure.
I mean, is everybody cool with that?
I don't care. Sure.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean,
Now, does
we
anyone-
have more loot box talk coming up in the news, but that'll be a little bit
Well,
brief,
I mean,
so.
we're just in the ranting portion right now. Does anybody have any other ranting about loot boxes they'd like to do? I have some.
I can't wait to talk about one of our news stories tonight. Can we just talk about it now? Because I think that fits this section.
Oh, wait, can I reply to one thing that James said in
Yes.
the podcast? James, I died. I literally died. Okay. So you were talking, I forget what exactly it was, but you were talking about getting old. Oh, no, you guys, thanks for the birthday well wishes and everything. So, but when we left, James, like, James is like, he's like, you're 32, and he's like, have fun now that you're old, or something like that. And he's like, yeah, everything aches, or something like that.
Now your back and knees are going to start to break.
James, no joke. I'm listening to it, and I'm rubbing my back, and I'm rubbing my knee, because it was like, ow, it was kind of hurting. I laughed, because I'm like, I literally was like in pain a little bit, like listening to the podcast. I'm like, jam it!
Did you say jam it?
Is that how you curse by name?
He's holding a piece of toast
I'm like,
with
jam
peanut
it.
butter on it. He's got peanut butter on it. He's like, jam it!
That commercial.
Commercial.
Do you remember the World of Warcraft video? The guy with the remote?
Wait, did you call that a commercial?
I guess I call it a commercial.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
At least I know that it's very easy for Joel to remember when he curses my name. Damn it! Oh, okay.
The Gwent screams.
Yeah. Anyways,
Joel,
I just died.
hey.
What?
Remember, Joel, don't make plans for lunch tomorrow, because swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty.
And then we'll play Gwen.
Shh. Oh, man.
Man, I'm like sweaty up here. Jeez.
All right, so do you guys want to just like
older.
look? We're really again, we're over episode 200. Everything after this is a bonus episode. Let's screw the normal order. We had a news item. We had a news item we want to talk about that had to do with loot crates, right?
Yeah.
Okay, James, you said you were really salty. Do you want to lead this one?
Nope.
Oh, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's time for the general to go to work here.
I'm tasting it. I'm tasting the anger. Kind of like
I'm not
copper
doing-
feeling.
Well,
I
Dave,
don't
you
even
got to get
start.
you got to get a good mouthful of bile. You know, like you got to. No, just me. All right. Anyway, Dave, it's time for just one news item and then the main topic. Dave, take it away.
Let's talk about Activision's special patent this week on the subject of loot crates.
Yeah, I want to know more about this, if it's actually true.
Oh,
It's real. The link is to the patent link
Ooh.
on the government archive. This is a patent for a system and method that drives microtransactions in multiplayer video games. It's a way that they can, what's a good word? Set up the matchmaking, but basically rig the matchmaking so that if a player has a good gun they just bought, they will pit them against players who don't have that gun to make the players who don't have it want it. And if a certain weapon is good in certain scenarios, after you buy it, they'll give you a reward period where the matchmaking, and again, this is all a patent. This is not in an actual game yet, but this is a real patent that they have filed. If you've bought a weapon, let's say,
because they would never include that in games.
yeah, let's say you buy a shotgun, right? The patent describes a system where there's a reward period. So you've paid for your shotgun, let's say. For the next few hours of matchmaking, the game will matchmake you with lower tier players, also on maps where shotguns are really good, to make you feel good about your purchase. Which also then makes
Wow.
people want the shotgun even more.
Ooh, ooh, oh.
And I'm
Sorry.
I'm not a big fan of most
Squealing
matchmaking
pig.
in games anyway. I really miss the days where there were name servers that over the lifetime of a game, like you'd have a server that was just always there. You know, had to like wait in line for it. Where communities were based around servers, and a lot of games these days you just have no control over the matchmaking. Battlefront 1 had no control over the matchmaking, and I saw an interesting discussion actually just about the matchmaking part, where it's like, because they control how you play the game, how you're matched with other players. Who knows what other stuff might be going on in matchmaking? Like it's completely non-transparent. Whereas if you have a server browser, you can pick what you want to play, and that part interested me just because I can't stand matchmaking just as a default.
Ultra
That's just
made the point in chat that we don't know that it's not already in some games to some
Also
degree.
true. Also true.
So basically, it's like trying to pit certain people together.
It's
That could
socially engineering you to make
Yeah.
make more purchases.
Yeah.
It's putting you in situations where you want something or you're lacking something, so you feel the need to whip out the credit card and purchase that so you can get on the same level or get
Are
that
they
gun.
trying to buy a new planet? How much effing money do they need? Like, I feel like doesn't those games make a lot? Like, I mean, I find it fascinating because I mean, obviously, there's certain businesses you find out like they make a lot of money, right? But then if you talk with people that work there, they go, "Oh man, we're actually kind of close." It's like because their costs are so extreme because they have such a huge business. It's like, all right, maybe they're not making that much money. You know, it's not really that viable, especially like restaurant businesses. It's crazy,
Right, like bringing
you know?
in a lot of revenue doesn't mean you're making a lot of
Yeah,
profit.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like, for that, I mean, like, obviously, I mean, they obviously need to do it year over year. They come out, but wouldn't it be fascinating if you could have a one-on-one chat with someone who really is in the know that work there and go, this is what's really going down. This is how much people make. This is what's going on. Golly, but this is scummy.
It's one of the most scummy microtransaction systems that I've ever seen.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Say it, brother.
I think this definitely qualifies for a singularity shame segment. I don't know how it doesn't. So it's one thing, like the level of insanity that we've already passed this fall, where there are AAA games that you pay $60 for and then have blatantly pay-to-win loot boxes in them. Like, not pay to win, pay to get a definite, objective, competitive advantage over other people. Do with that what you will. Like, it's one thing to have that, but for them to talk about a system where you might pay $60 for a full AAA game, and then if you spend more money, they're going to pit you against crappier people who don't have money so you can feel better about yourself, to also make those people feel like they want to spend the money too. Like, translate that out of gaming into some other system. Like, if you're considering buying a new car, the dealership will drive you past a bunch of poor people in your car so they can see it and wish they had it too. like there's no way you can translate that it's like the finest dining restaurant in the world specifically sets up in a really poor area of town outdoor tables so that the really poor people can watch you have your $500 meal and they can wish they had it too. Like, take it to any other. Is there any situation where that doesn't?
The bus brings people to like the outer patio of the restaurant where they're handed bags of Burger King and they have to eat in the patio next to like the French restaurant.
Well, here's how this could actually work, because I mean, I know I would definitely be affected by it. Speaking of Sniper Elite, if we played in a match and I got grouped up with someone that had a sweet, ripe new skin like M95 or one of those things, I would definitely be like, Dave, this exists, man. We can get this for like $2.99. Because when we already had, Dave was like, oh man, they have it. I'm like, oh dude, it costs money. And then he goes, it's on sale for $2.99. I'm like, oh shit. And we both bought it like right away.
We match made each other in co-op and we bought skins that we saw each other using. It works. Like, dude, I saw that you had the M1 Garand with the scope, and I was like, does that come with skins?
Yes, we do. It was a moment of weakness. It felt like power.
I just handed over a couple dollars and I got that powerful feeling. It went away and I had to buy some more, but you know.
I know.
Anyway,
as long as I just keep on buying, I keep getting that feeling though.
It's not addictive though. That's the important thing.
No, I could stop anytime.
Well, you'll run out of money eventually. But yeah, can you think of any situation where like it, again, because this isn't like them balancing the game out so everybody gets a wide variety of play experiences or them trying to make sure every game is dynamic and fun. Like, that's good matchmaking. No, this is based on people who spend more money get to have more fun, and they rig the deck so people who spend less money feel like if they spent more money, they could have fun too. Because the price of the game isn't good enough.
I'm trying to find this. There is a Reddit comment this guy made on PS4 that was pretty on point, I think. I'll see, you guys just continue. If I can find it, I'll read it out because it was really good.
A lot of these microtransaction games are like shooters and stuff. But could you imagine playing something like Age of Empires or something like Total War, where you're playing competitively against somebody, and they paid and they could unlock like faster builds and just that.
Take the star cards from Battlefront 2 and add it to Total War. It's a good example, James. Like, oh, well, I've played for a few hours, got some loot crates, so I have a star card for my armies where they move 10% faster. Like, that's a huge advantage. Are you kidding me? Like, you can take the high ground just barely ahead of the enemy and stuff like that? What?
I found it.
Okay.
It's pretty short. The post was, as an adult that is married, that has a full-time successful career and many hobbies, I dread the current trend in video games. So he writes, I'm almost 40. I have many hobbies and interests. I mountain bike, whatever, kayak, study kung fu, and I'm training for a half marathon.
Somebody's trying too hard, if you ask me.
And instead of TV, I enjoy console games. I grew up playing Commodore 64, Atari, Nintendo, etc. And the past 30 years have been fun to watch in the industry grow socially. Sure, I enjoyed play Contra with a friend, Blades of Steel, GoldenEye, co-op Resident Evil. It was fun. Then came Red Alert. That was really fun. But something got lost recently. The social experiment of gaming community has had some interesting highs, but lately has been driving me away from the industry. It seems like every game is moving to be a race to the finish, a race to level up, a race to perfect your play, a race to get gear, a race to exhaust the game itself, a race to show off. I don't even play Call of Duty anymore because of the whole get good mentality. Destiny, yeah, it sucked hundreds of hours of my life. It took away from my hobbies and interests and even other games. Then there was The Division and then Overwatch and so on. Now it seems like my only choices are to play single-player games like a hermit or be left behind in other games. I wish there was a happy medium. I really love the BioShock series, Last of Us, Uncharted, Red Dead Redemption, Witcher. I don't know those other games. Just they're like abbreviated. Just wish I could play it with a few friends because I like the raids in Destiny. Now it seems like the microtransactions are going to feed into that race mentality even more. The race mentality almost makes me want to pick up a Switch. Almost. I don't think I'll ever be done with games, but I feel like with all the technology, we are hitting a dark age, and somehow we are all to blame. Too long, didn't read. Get off my lawn. Yeah, it's especially the part where he's talking about like a race to finish, a race to level up. Yeah, like that. It's very weird, you know, because I was actually talking with my nephews, nieces and nephews, about games and stuff like that, and hearing them talk about games now, it's very, very different. You know, I mean, it's such a YouTube age for them. It's such a like their shows are just watching other people play games and watching Minecraft videos and stuff like that. And to them, you know, it is all about like it's that social, because I think because there is such a connectivity and it's so easy that I think the younger generation growing up, it is really cool to, oh, you have a level 79, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, because you can show it off. You're showing your gear, your own sword, you can have your own personality, all that kind of stuff. But it's weird how I think it's rubbed off in games in a different way that I wonder, you know, as they get older playing games, if they're going to look back and go like, crap, what were we doing? Like, we were barely playing games. We were just rushing through it. Because same with like the Wildlands comments we get, or you get with Star Wars. Oh, like here's Wildlands. Some guy says, I love the PvP. This is one of the best multiplayer games ever. He's like, but I will leave it instantly if there's no more maps. And I'm like, you just, it's like, dude, like, it
Instantly,
just came out. Like, it just came out. Like, you mean you played those 6 maps or whatever it is that much that you like, I'm just like, you can't wait a couple weeks? What the crap, man? Like you couldn't just be, oh yeah, I had 40 hours. That was great. Look, I think I'm done now.
I've been playing Age of Empires 2 for about 17 years now. And I only play on 2 of the map types because those are the ones I like.
Sorry, Jeremiah, game's dead. Game's dead. Dead game.
Yeah, there's no loot. There's no extra loot. I can't personalize my characters.
I don't know if we're going to talk about this in the news segment, but the fact that Visceral's close, they're being closed down.
Yeah, and they're refocusing the Star Wars game.
Refocusing. It scares me that they're trying to, again, do this community-based, like, continue building revenue through extra purchases versus, you know, just really good storytelling, which I don't know who they talked to and said got the feedback that people wanted something else other than that Star Wars games they were creating, because I think a lot of people were like, no, we do want that. I mean, I could understand if they made it a little more open world and stuff, but if it becomes another community-based thing where you're just throwing money at it, I think it's a stupid decision.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's now time to begin the show, like we always do, with the main topic. Joel, I am so happy for you this evening. I don't even want to tease it. I just want to clear the proverbial stage. Joel, what's our main topic tonight?
Oh, we're gonna be talking about trash. Guys, it's finally happened. Joy. No. I have a good story, and I've been saying it. I've been wanting to tell you guys for a while, but I didn't, because it's pathetic. but kind of awesome. It was really awesome to me, but you guys are gonna probably find it really pathetic.
All right.
No, so the dream has finally come true, guys. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, I don't know how long it's been taking. I've been keeping telling people, find someone who works in the trash industry. I want to ask them questions. Well, somebody did, and now I completely forgot his name. It's in the audio. I forget it because it's like more of a username, so I kind of forgot it. But it's been a really rough couple months working on, just finishing Norman stuff, trying to raise money for things, and I've filmed like 35. I'm nearing 45 videos in the last couple months, editing and stuff like that, trying to make things work. And so I've just been like really just not having a great time. It's been really rough. And then I get the email. I can't forget. Damn it, the name. I can't remember who sent it to me from my contact. And he says,
my good friend.
He says, hey, my dad works as a trash guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I sent him back emails. I was trying to see if he could get his dad on the podcast. And he's like, oh, his work is kind of crazy and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, no worry. Well, can I send you some questions? And he's like, sure. And so I sent him some questions, and I wrote a long email because I was like, I know this is a gaming podcast. I don't want you to think like I'm trying to make fun of you or anything. I'm genuinely 200% interested in this.
His name's Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm so interested in this. I've always been fascinated about stuff like that as a kid. I love those shows that have like the dirty jobs. You know what I mean? A lot of jobs you just don't like. Most people don't think that's what I want to be. You know what I mean? Like you kind of almost find yourself in that position. Well, anyway, so I sent him those, and he was like, "Oh, this is great. I'll try to get it back to you soon." And then I didn't hear from him for like a week or so, and then he sent me an MP3, and it was a pretty rough day for me. And I get this email. I clicked play. I was on my way to work. I literally cried with happiness. It was such a happy moment, Josh. You have no idea. It was like one of those weird bucket list things that like I'd always wanted to hear about as a kid. And I was like, oh, it's just that his dad is just wonderful, and he's answered the question so well. He's been working as a garbage man for 28 years. So this guy has freaking knowledge, people. And I was like, I don't know. I just had this sense of pride of like, damn, that guy is awesome. Like this guy, like he's got a good life. Like he loves his job. It was just, I don't know. It filled me with such happiness today. I literally cried in my car. I was like, what does this mean?
Trashiest cry ever.
Anyways, after hyping it up, I think it's a really great interview, and so I just say thanks to Josh for making this happen. Make sure to
hey guys,
go buy your dad
doing
something awesome.
Update here for
Your dad's awesome. So, you guys ready to listen?
Yep. Everybody have it brought up.
Where is it?
It's in the
Dropbox?
mic recording.
Oh, mic recording folder.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Let me know when you guys are ready.
Ready?
Ready.
On 3. 1.
Wait, is Joel ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
On 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, Shadow X here doing a update here for Joel, for all you casual shenanigan people out here. Here with my dad, Billy. He's gonna help answer some of Joel's questions for the trash business, and we'll go ahead and just get started. So, what is your job role? Joel wants to know.
Well, I drive roll-off dumpsters.
So, what does a roll-off driver do for those that don't know?
Well, we go to job sites and we drop off construction-type dumpsters, and we pick up the full one. We leave the empty one and pick up the full one. Then we take it to the recycling facility or the trash dump place, and we dump it out and head on to the next one.
Awesome. So, how did you get into business? What made you get into the trash business?
Well, I had the opportunity. My brother offered me a job back in 1989. And at that time, I wasn't making great money, and it sounded like a good idea. So I quit my job on a Monday and started on a Tuesday. I've been working in trash business ever since.
So how long have you been working there?
About 28 years in the trash business.
28 years, man. That's older than I am. Fantastic. Awesome. Joel also asks, what's the one thing that you think that you know about the business that no one else does? Something like something that really just might surprise you when it comes to the job.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say about that question. Let's get back to that one.
All right, we'll come back to it. Joel also asked, "Hey, are holidays frustrating to you because of all the extra trash and gifts and stuff, or like especially around Christmas, or is this really a good time for like overpay?"
Yeah, it's an excellent time for overpay. We get 55 to 60 hours a week on the average, and sometimes in the holiday season you get 60 to 65 hours. So it's great pay and great hours.
Awesome. What would you say is the coolest part about a job like this?
Well, I'm on my own. I don't have anybody over my shoulder. I get in my truck, I go off and I do my job. I can stop when I want and get a drink, take a break, and nobody to bother me.
So no micromanaging or anything like that?
No micromanaging.
Oh, fantastic. So what would you say is the worst part about being a roll-off driver?
Well, there's so many bad things. But I think the worst thing about being a roll-off driver is the traffic. People don't understand or don't care about the rules of the road. And we as commercial drivers, we have to really be aware of that and take our time. It's really, really frustrating.
So I've heard in some cases that the roll-off in trash business, particularly in roll-off, is actually one of the most dangerous jobs. Would you actually concur that, or?
I don't know about one of the most dangerous, but it is pretty dangerous. I've had a lot of people I've seen roll dumpsters off of their trucks, not paying attention. Trucks have run over top of cars, not paying attention. Yeah, it can be quite dangerous.
Yeah, I also Joel also mentions that people that take these kinds of jobs in the trash business, they say they get sick a lot in the beginning and then build their immune system quickly just because of the things they're around. Would you believe that this is true? Do you feel like that's built your immune system over the years?
In my opinion, yes. I think so. I haven't been sick for quite a few years, so I believe so. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I step right out into the landfill, walk over to trash, and some of it's quite nasty. You just go on, it's part of the job. So yeah, I think that's true.
Awesome. And for someone, let's say somebody might be interested in getting in the trash business, what would you tell them?
It's an excellent job. There'll always be trash. The pay is good. The benefits can be good. If you get with the right company, it's an excellent job.
So like job security pretty much is there?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. So all right, let's go back to that question that Joel asked earlier about really what it is that you think you know about the trash business that maybe not somebody else would know, but something that might surprise somebody to learn about the business. I think before we did the recording, you were talking about licensing and things like that. Like can you explain a little bit about what we were talking about before that?
Yeah, it's right tough to get a commercial driver's license nowadays. I was grandfathered in. I didn't have to take the commercial test that they have nowadays. So I was grandfathered in, but nowadays it's a really vigorous test. A lot of questions. You have to go through a physical. You have to actually have your birth certificate now just to renew your driver's license. And the DOT regulations are extremely rough on drivers. They can down your truck for really minor things. So it's really frustrating. I don't think people realize what we go through to be in this business.
I think you also mentioned earlier, again, before we did the recording, that you're talking about what happens like when you get a ticket compared to somebody who's a normal driver that doesn't have a commercial driver's license. What's that about?
Yes, if a commercial driver gets a ticket, any type of moving violation, they cannot renew. They have to wait the 3 years for the drop off their license. They can't take the driver's course to remove the points.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, and this may differ in state to state. In Arizona, you can take a driving course for infractions against your license. Joel actually had one more question for us, really here for you, and I can contest to this growing up in our house here. Joel had mentioned he was really interested to know when one person throws away garbage, I mean, it's gone. So over the years, have you ever just happened to just take some stuff out of the garbage and maybe keep it for yourself or sell it, or how did that work over your 28 years?
Oh my goodness, we find so many good things, and it depends on the company you work for. Some are really strict and they really watch. They don't want you going through it because of the hazards around the landfill and what have you. They don't want you getting run over. But there are quite a few times we can we find really nice stuff, and I've had quite a few yard sales where I collect things and sell it, and people are amazed at the condition it's in that people throw away.
Yeah, I think, what do you think is probably some of the most surprising items? I mean, not just one, but give us an example of a couple things that you found really surprising to see that were in pretty pristine condition that people would just get rid of.
Well, I do mostly commercial in my the part of business that I do it in. So the stores and the warehouses and what have you, they dispose of quite a few items that I just pick up and bring home, and I don't understand why they don't donate them, but I've picked up brand new items still in boxes and containers, such as grills, bicycles. Some of the stores sell baby items and things like that, and they throw them away for what reason, I don't know. But we've picked up quite a few and made quite a good deal with yard sales and stuff.
Yeah, I can remember those 4:30, 5 a.m. mornings. I think some real interesting things to know, at least from my perspective, is the damaged boxes. And I think maybe this is more of an insurance thing where companies might collect the insurance claim on them more so than reselling the item. But I remember when we were a kid, I think you brought home 2 PlayStation 3s when they were damaged in the box. The box itself was damaged, but the systems themselves worked well. And you mentioned earlier with baby items, and it's interesting to see how companies will throw those types of items away. Has there ever been anything else that you've seen where somebody maybe in the industry grabbed some stuff before you that you really wanted and it wasn't there? Anything that you regret not grabbing?
There's lots of things I think I regret not grabbing, I think back on. But I think the biggest deal with the insurance type, I believe it's true, they can actually make more money on a damage claim than going through the process of shipping it back to the manufacturer because of the cost, So
awesome, fantastic. Well, hey, again, this is Shadow X for all the casual shenanigan gamers out there, hanging out with my dad, Billy. Just wanted to give you guys a little insight to Joel's questions here on his fascination, so to speak, with the garbage industry. And here you have it, 28 years experience in the field. If you guys have any other questions, man, let us know. Take care.
Fascination is one way to say fetish, but yeah.
That was a very wholesome interview.
It was. Josh, legitimately, thank you.
Hey, Josh, I was gonna say he's a good interviewer too. That was well done. It was very enjoyable to listen to.
And Josh, I don't know how any of the rest of us would have been able to bring Joel happiness in this way.
Although it brings me more happiness than trash.
Joel, are you sure?
I don't know.
You saving that date?
Am I saving that date?
Saving that date for later this month.
Oh, yeah. What are you guys going to do to me?
For you. Why do you always assume it's to you? Anyway.
Many ways to love.
Just make sure that you have all your shots. But seriously, all your shots. All of them.
It's now time for a very special What Are You Playing This Week? A part of the show where we talk about what we're playing this week. It's very special because this week we're mostly going to focus on Ghost Recon Wildlands Ghost Wars. It's 2 ghosts in the title. It's a little weird, but you can also just call it Ghost Recon Wildlands PvP. That's also fine. But we've been playing it on PS4 and PC for what's been out? A week?
Week and a half.
Week and a half? Okay. So let's talk about it.
I'm just honestly so happy to see you guys all playing Wildlands.
I mean, Wildlands, it's this year's redemption gaming story. It really is.
It really is. And I tried not to pressure it on you guys. I made that video because I earnestly thought there was some really good stuff in the game.
To be fair, the beta
that helped quite a bit.
The beta was trash, man. Like, and not the good
Dave
type of trash.
I said I hated it too. I told him it it was the pre-alpha, or whatever the very first one we got to try.
Joel refused to play the second beta. You installed it and launched it, and you're like, no, sorry, I'm not going to play it again. I actually uninstalled it already. You're like, I hate it so much.
Yeah. So, okay, as having the most hours in the game right now, I have like probably 140 hours in the main game. And I'm level like 18 on PS4 and level 15 on PC for the Ghost War. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. I love it. Like, I played probably 80 hours of The Last of Us multiplayer, and it really reminded me a lot of that kind of gameplay. And it also reminded me a lot of Battlegrounds, just in the sense of like when you get into a 4-man squad, because when we play fours, you get into these battles with 4 other people, and it becomes this really tense game. And I think the quality of the game. There's a lot of polish to it and a lot of thought that went through it. Because I remember seeing the first trailer, and Dave, I think, said a little bit of this last podcast, but I was nervous about how they were going to handle drones and spotting and all that. Everyone was furious about that. They were like, no, this is going to be terrible garbage.
But then you get in the just UI elements.
And then you get in the game and you go, oh, drones are helpful, but no, that doesn't at all dominate the game. If you work as a team, you can really do really well in the game, and it's tense. And I think the game changer, I think, is allowing you to revive anybody at any time. You're not completely out of the game. There's no respawn, but if you're down, that person, you can either guard the other enemy person that you took down, or potentially move and do another objective or whatever. And I thought that was just genius, honestly. I've always liked the game, the gunplay from the start. I know Dave's, it's not as realistic, as other games, but to me, I kind of enjoyed it because it kind of felt like a physics-based game where, you do have to arc a little bit more, and
it is different. It's enjoyable in its own way, for sure.
As a gameplay mechanic, I just really enjoyed it, but I'm loving it. I mean, we've played quite a lot of it. I've wanted to play more in the past couple of days that I haven't been able to, but I'm excited to put a crap ton of more hours into it.
So I was surprised at how thoughtful and tactical you have to be. Say a lot of games like Call of Duty and even Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds, Battlefront, those type of games. You do have to be thoughtful, but it's kind of like in 10 seconds you're going to be facing somebody at any point. But this, you really have to strategize what part of the map you want to be on. How you're going to split up. Who's got Overwatch over everybody, and you're not really rushing other than, all right, we got one guy left, let's get someone to the tower or something like that. So yeah, I appreciate this as a multiplayer more so than a lot of other shooter multiplayers because of that. You don't just run in and whoever sees the other person first, shoot, dead, rounds over.
Respawn, yeah.
Yeah. And it's really helpful for the other people that you can spot for them once you are dead and you're down, and you can view other perspectives and stuff. That's really fun. I think also another thing that defied expectation, I think, was the fact when you initially saw the trailer for the game, or you saw maybe how the gameplay is you think, oh, it's going to be a rush. The person's going to reveal the recon tower and everyone's just screwed. But then it became no, you don't really need the recon tower. You want to play this dance of who's going to go for it first, and then we'll snipe the person off of it. And then, then the timer comes down, then it becomes tense. And even we had multiple nights where we had stalemates the whole time, but it was still really fun. It was really, there's some really tense games. And I think the game only has, it's only going to go up from here. I hope it keeps catching on for more and more people, because there's no multiplayer, I think, right now out there like that, outside of, I think, Last of Us. And, I haven't played Rainbow Siege, but just that third person slowed down.
For the third person, there's not. Yeah.
Because it almost reminds me a little bit of Rocket League, where it's like you can play it casually, but then there's also a really hardcore element to it that if you really do kind of figure things out and play it like a chess match,
you can do
it's
the meta.
A lot of fun.
The meta is interesting.
I appreciated that. If you do just kind of try to run in and gun like you would in a normal multiplayer shooter, you're going to have a really bad match. And I think we had enough bad matches where we were like, okay, we really need to come up with a better strategy.
Yeah. And then it worked too. That was always fun when it actually worked, when we would play a certain side. We would, when we started playing where we'd have all four of us spread out, so we're watching right side, left side, and the middle. That was really good. And we'd have Dave on a drone, someone else with the spotting or like that. That was my favorite part was when someone almost took Dave's, and Dave's like, the rage came. He's like, no.
I do like the artillery drone. But speaking of the classes, you guys kind of covered the gameplay pretty well already. One thing that really impressed me, there was a lot of complaints about Ubisoft taking so long after launch to release the multiplayer mode. It's been, all the single player DLCs came out first, and it's been 7 months since launch, right? It was March. Yeah, 7 months.
I think so, yeah.
But I really have to hand it to the devs of Wildlands. Some amazing amount of thought went into this mode. It was well worth the wait. And like Joel said, I think because of how well thought out it is, and the meta and the extra depth added to it, it's only going to grow from here. If they had thrown together a 4v4 mode with a couple of maps and just the framework of what we have now and like 4 classes, I think most people wouldn't have been sucked into it. But I've seen people, what was it, like the first day we had a matchmaking with level 35s out of 50 on the first day. People got sucked into it immediately, and it's because it's so well thought out, and it really, really shows.
Well, I like that there's not like traditional camping spots. I mean, there are places where snipers will go, but it's not like, oh man, he's there, we're screwed the whole game.
Yeah,
like, there are ways to strategically take him out or avoid.
I love that. I think when James called us like, do a drone strike, but Dave would put a mortar strike to get them out of their position so that someone could come and heal me or heal someone else. That was cool. And I think that's the part that makes it really fun to work with everyone, where you go,
because you get to coordinate. All right, we're ready to strike. I'm going to run now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
One thing that impressed
it's definitely a surprise.
One thing that impressed me, I think it's a stereotype about me enough in games that like all I do is I'm the guy who runs in and just hit stuff, like no finesse. I mean, that's those jokes have been made enough times and I probably deserve them, but like that's all I do is just run in and try to tear things up. And until so
got the taste.
I mean, that's in everything. In Borderlands 2, I played whatever the big heavy guy is in Borderlands and Borderlands 2. Like, I play the tank character. I always play the tank character. Like, in Arma, in GTA, in whatever. I'm the guy who just runs in and tries to outshoot everybody. Like, in every multiplayer game, whatever. I'm playing a sniper. And not just any sniper. The build that's making the most sense for me is the guy who's slowly creeping through the underbrush and just waiting. And as soon as he sees someone moves, just tracks them as long as it takes until they feel like they're safe, and you just drop them. And
dude, it's so much fun.
You still there's a couple like quick reaction scenarios, like when I tried thermal goggles for the first time last night. I think Justin and me tag teamed the last dude, but I took down the whole team in like a minute or two. Just like,
oh geez,
just because the rifle and the thermal goggles and everything, like it was just all working together. But I was telling these guys, talking to the guys last night, I think it's almost even a little bit cheap. I'm playing on a 4K monitor that's 32 inches. So I'm dropping my DPI all the way down, and I'm staying real still, and then I just lean in a little bit and I just look and I just wait. And if you see anything moving, you just gradually track it and you just wait.
Jeremiah, a little tip here. Make sure to turn off auto marking. Mm-hmm. If you're sniping, that way they really don't know. Good. Yeah, because like, if they're sitting there still and you mark them, then they're like, a few seconds later they're going to run.
Right.
But if you don't mark them, you might have a better shot. I've tried to, unless you think they're going to get away and you just need to mark them quick. But that's fun. Some notes from the developer is they already are working on a quick hot fix for those goggles. The heat. I haven't unlocked it because I don't really care to play that yet. Yeah, they're working on
the only issue I've seen really is the goggles being.
They're working on a hot fix with that, and then they're going to work on the next big patch. Will actually fix what the actual problem is. But I think right now they're going to just dumb it down a crazy amount just to stop people using it right now and abusing it, and then they're going to rethink how they can add it in. There's been a lot of cool ideas of saying,
to see somebody, but
yeah. But they said they just said a lot of people, they don't want people playing the whole game and that vision anyways. Like you're playing in a crappy graphics mode, you know what I mean? Like because someone was saying, yeah, every time you die, you switch over to every character, it's all that mode. It's kind of like, dude, I'm just tired of that view. So it sounds like they're going to move it to something where you can't look through a scope with it. You can only use maybe potentially a drone, or you only have a very short amount of time to use it. And then, and I think that's be totally fine,
Makes a lot of sense.
So far, I have not encountered anyone in the probably maybe 20 hours I've played that I felt like I died quickly because someone had it. Whether or not they have, I'm kind of sneaky and I stay behind stuff.
Last night sure felt like that.
Yeah. So luckily, I haven't had that experience, but I know there's a lot of people that have already experienced being just destroyed by that. But
so one thing that I would like to see them, are they doing new maps? Do we know? Are they going to be building additional maps?
Yeah, there's 4 new maps.
Good, because I'm tired of the content that's in it. I'd like more. No, I would like to see them maybe focus on some maps that have less sniper, less ranged gameplay. Because the only real balance issues I see besides the night vision or the thermal scope or the thermal goggles. I feel like the close game is maybe underutilized right now, where I feel like the snipers have more of an advantage and the the guys with regular rifles, like I feel like have to do more scouting and more like mortars and stuff, and can do less just up close gunfights. I don't know. Would you guys agree?
I would love for them to have a map where you're just everybody starting in the middle of a city, like not like a big city. But
there's a
just
couple
like,
town ones actually coming. I wouldn't agree with you actually on that. I do think it seems like that, but from all the time I play with John now, we've played on a lot of maps where he'll go sniper and then I just go up close, because when you are a sniper, like if I'm a sniper, if I have two people coming up on me with regular rifles, I can't quick scope them or anything. I got a pistol and I just put down a mine and hope they get hit by it. Where John will back me up with a regular rifle, where I can't do that as a sniper. So we'll kind of team up like that. But we found where if they have a whole team of snipers, we'll both go just assault rifles, flank their sides, and you shoot them, and then they get, the blurry vision and everything. So then you can actually take them out and stuff. So I felt like it hasn't been. I mean, maybe I think maybe if you're not sneaking, again, I think this is one of the problems I think that initially when people played Wildlands for the first time is they think this game is so AAA quality, like this is a AAA quality game, I'll just play it like GTA and Call of Duty, I'll just run and gun. Where for me in the start, I kind of played really immersive and just played it slow, so I didn't die as much and I didn't run into Unidad as much, where I think if you just go, oh, I hit a Y button, I just hop into a car, it's like, no, this actually, it looks really good, but it's not supposed to play, like it plays a little bit more like it's trying to be like a lighter casual armor than it's supposed to be a GTA. You just get away scot-free with stuff. So I think with a game, if you run and gun, you're going to get screwed.
As we mentioned in the video that Joel and I did together too, I think a lot of that impression of, I'll play it like GTA comes from their marketing. Their marketing was so off message, I think, for the game. All these like let's plays of like, guys, let's all get in the Jeep and I'm gonna put C4 in the back, let's ramp it into the base, yeah, explosions. All their marketing was like that. And then like they had the super cringy squad play with the scripted dialogue, which was that was more on message, but so forced that it was like almost even worse than the over the top explosions let's play videos. So yeah, their marketing kind of, I think, shot themselves in their own foot a little bit, but didn't hurt the game itself, thankfully.
Now these are all paid for advertising that we're doing right now, thanks to Ubisoft. These are not actually our opinions.
Yeah, I
hated those.
My fridge is full of Wildlands champagne right now.
I remember at E3 or when we watched it the first time, we're like, this is really exciting, and then we saw the gameplay and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so cringeworthy. This is terrible. And I was like, okay, I'm not caring about the game anymore.
Which sucks because when we first saw that footage at E3 like a few years ago, we were like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
And
so it only makes me more excited that the game is hopefully going to, like, it's sold a lot. Hopefully they'll make another one and they'll just keep improving on it.
It's one of the best-selling games this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's over 20 million copies now.
But there's no one playing it, Dave. No one.
Dead game. The YouTuber Joel that we played against in the preview, I was watching some of his videos because his squad is so good at the game. I was looking for those pro tips. But like one of the first comments posted on his video where he's like genuinely loving the game and wanting to share it with his subscriber base. One of the first comments was, "Why are you trying to revive a dead game?"
Well, so on that note, not that I think the game is dead, but just at least in our region, I mean, it didn't look like there were that many people on. It doesn't look like it's like Battlefield or something where you got 50, 60,000 people playing tonight. Like, it does look like probably because this came out so far after the game launched, I think the numbers probably are going to be a little bit lower for a while and then might slowly pick up as more and more people discover it.
Something to remember is the count, which I found online from one of the devs, is that number you see is not how many people are playing. That's how many people are waiting to get into a match. There's people already playing. It's not showing everyone playing. It's only showing the people that are trying to get into.
Interesting.
Yeah. A lot of games actually do that. Not all games just show everyone playing. Sometimes it only shows who's actually getting
number
into
900 in the queue.
Yeah.
So basically, when we saw that number a few days after the game launched of 1,400 in our region, that doesn't mean that there's 1,400 people in our region playing. That means that just in our matchmaking region, there are 1,400 people actively starting a lobby right that second.
Yeah, that's what I believe it is.
That's cool. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So, because when I was playing on PS4, it was much higher, of course, but I was like, that doesn't seem like. I mean, I don't think it's massive, but it's not Lawbreakers low. As according to last week, I was like, oh, that's so sad. 10 people.
How many people can be in a match in Lawbreakers? I wonder. Like, is that enough for one solid server?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's. Did they have a booth at E3, Joel, too, for Lawbreakers?
Yeah.
They had like a 60 computer set up with lines and everything.
I do think trying to go and compete in that market with those type of games right now was probably not a great idea. Like, I think I would be like, let's wait for later. You know what I mean? Let these games maybe die down to see if there might be something new. But it was like, hey, these two games are wildly popular. Why add a third one? Wildlands?
I don't. Do you guys feel like they marketed it the multiplayer that much?
I mean, they had a couple of really good trailers. I don't know how far of a reach they got it, but
I think they're having a hard time getting people to look again. But from the reaction I've seen on the trailers, like when IGN, which is a all coverage channel, not just shooters or Wildlands channel, when I saw their video posted, almost all the top comments were like, wait, this looks really good. Like surprised and excited kind of comments. I think the hardest thing that Ubisoft is trying to overcome right now is just getting people to take a second look now that the PvP is out. But again, it's so well thought out. I think the time spent was worth it. They just need to get people's attention again.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that'll go
for it.
viral.
Yeah, I think
long.
so.
But I mean, imagine Wildlands 2 coming out and it already, included from the get-go. You know what I mean? That's going to help a lot too, especially if they get their vehicles and all that, the problems from the first one fixed, and they come out and they go, hey, the enemy AI is all redone. There's people in the woods. There's all sorts of things you can do. Whatever. I think they have a huge successful game on their hands. But I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But hopefully, if it stays just as good as it is right now, they got a huge chance to get pretty big, I think.
Absolutely.
Now, do you guys want to talk about the store at all?
What, like the loot crates?
I want to end the podcast and go play now.
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
Yeah, we can talk about loot crates for a minute if you guys want to. What about it, James?
It's not as bad as other games, I don't think, but there is the XP boost that lasts for like 30 days,
Jeez.
which is a form of pay to win, or at least pay to get unlock stuff faster.
It does make you wonder about some of the people that leveled up that quickly.
Yes. I mean, some people, I do believe they probably played for nonstop. But, what was it, like the first day of the free-to-play? The people were already at level 30s and 40s. Were like,
yeah.
What?
First day. I'd almost guarantee that there was some of that going on.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me as much as other games, but it still bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better if it didn't have that in it, even if it's less egregious than some others. But
so predictions: do you think there will be a patch that they eventually add loot crates in it? Because it's not. I mean, in the randomized one where you like, ooh, what did I get? I don't think it'll be Battlefront, but hopefully they don't.
I'm gonna bet right now that in the next year we're gonna see cosmetic loot crates in Wildlands. Because the single player has cosmetic packs you can buy. They're not randomized. So actually, no, let me take that back. I'm going to say that we're going to see cosmetic purchases, but they won't be randomized. That's, I think, what's going to happen, just like in single player.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do more of that. I mean, that makes sense.
What would make you quit? Would you quit if they started doing like purchase
currencies,
buyable vests that would give like 25% more hit points?
Yeah. That would annoy me. Like, because with Star Wars, like, I'm excited for the campaign. I'm excited mostly because I'm going to enjoy it for the next 4 months while Star Wars is out, and I'll enjoy some of the new DLC. I'm sure they'll do some Han Solo tie-in and all that kind of stuff like they did last one. But I know it's a dirty thing, and I know what I'm getting into, and I don't agree with it. But it's freaking Star Wars, and it's just
dirty for Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll be dirty for Star Wars for a little. But punish me for doing what I say you shouldn't do. but I can't help myself with it.
All right, it's now time for the rest of the news.
Rest of the news time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I just the news time. It cued me off. I was like, the rest of the news. What's that?
All right,
And now for the rest of the news.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has broken 15 million copies sold. It was only released in late March and has not seen any price drops since then, other than you can buy it cheaper from some third-party sites and stuff. It almost hit 2 million concurrent players over the weekend.
I remember saying at work when it was nearing, I think, 850,000, I said, I bet this will get to 2 million. I think it was Jeff that said, oh, I don't know about that.
Well, because no game
They're
ever
at 2
has.
million already.
Yeah.
I was like, this game is freaking damn good. Like, it's
Now, here's the question. Is it
It's
going to release?
huge.
Is it actually going to release?
Hell yeah. It will, definitely.
Yeah.
All their patches, the stuff they're doing, the devs they really are doing this right. Like, they really are. Like,
I mean,
it's a solid
considering
game.
the starting condition of this game
Yeah.
versus some most other early access games, it's way ahead of the curve.
Yeah. They're not redoing
I
engine.
mean, it's not perfect, but it plays better than DayZ, and it plays better than H1Z1.
It has a large amount of bugs. Like if you look at any kind of bug montage for Battlegrounds, there's a lot out there, but like there's no broken mechanics. It just needs a lot of polish is what it needs.
Yeah,
That's it.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't even need that much polish. If it released right now saying it's done, it would be a finished game and it had bugs. The same as Arma or DayZ or anything. It has bugs, but we still you still play a lot of those games, even though they have wonky bits.
Sure.
To it. So it's because like I'm saying, if DayZ right now, when they release it, if it worked just as good as that, or if that's how it was when they first released standalone, I would not be going, oh, I'm waiting for the release. I'm just waiting for the game to be workable and be enjoyable. I don't care if it's a final release game. I want the main part of the game to be good. Because that's the problem with was it H1Z1 we were all waiting for it to actually release or do something because the game released in a crappy state. You were playing it in a crappy state for a long
It had some things
time.
that was doing better than DayZ, and then some things it was just like, why?
And then it got worse for a while.
Exactly, yeah. But Battlegrounds, outside of some people not being able to play it because driver, you'll have issues with that. But if you got in, you're playing. I had a fantastic first 10 hours of the game that I was hooked. It could have just been there for the rest of the time, and I'd still enjoy it because it was a great game. Everything else is just a cherry on top, I think. Did you guys see the new map and stuff? I think it was a PC gamer got to see it.
Looks good. Looks very good.
It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Do they know when they're trying to release that?
I think it's supposed to just be out whenever the main game is gonna be out.
Okay. So, interesting news. Middle-earth Shadow of War, which despite having, you guessed it, loot boxes, appears to be a really good game, what the reviews say, and I just got it on PS4. It's installing tonight. Actually, need to wake the PS4 back up because it's supposed to be installing a patch. But it's supposed to be a really, really awesome game. So in its first 9 days on PC, it sold over 400,000 copies, which is really good. So on PC, games don't tend to sell as big up front. They tend to have longer tails. Console tends to be like a bigger rush up front, and then it tapers off, and then the game dies a little quicker. PC is like less up front, and then it's just, a slower decline over a longer period of time. So I think the original Mordor sold 35,000 copies in its first week or something. So like this is really good. So appears to be well optimized. Aside from the crates, which you can ignore, it appears to be a really fun game. People say
they're well
really
optimized.
The crates?
Oh yeah, they're well optimized.
They have all the metrics to target those weak whales.
All right.
I have to say, Joel, your mic placement is really good tonight. Like I'm hearing the full depth of your voice this week.
Ooh, all right, thank you. Or is it because I'm now 32? It's dropping.
Well,
If your voice is dropping now that you're 32, puberty normally happens earlier than that.
Well, what's happened, guys, is that lower back pain starting in, so he's kind of stooping over, but it's actually really helping with the mic volume. My back really hurts. My voice. My voice sounds so good.
But please help me get me back up.
Doctor, nurse.
Dave, what's your news item?
also PUBG related. There's a lot of new players in Battlegrounds right now, a lot, and it actually shares an anti-cheat with some of the older Battlefields and Arma and DayZ. BattleEye is actually the anti-cheat for Battlegrounds. A lot of battle games. We need some new names. And even the cheat has battle in it. It's a lot of battles going on.
Didn't DayZ use BattleEye?
You need a cool name that nobody else is using, like Lawbreakers.
I don't think that's being used, actually. Yeah, I think it's available.
They put it on, and all 10 of the people playing, oh, we can't play. They're all hackers, too.
Right now, BattleEye says that with the huge amount of people playing, they're banning 6,000 cheaters a day.
What?
So only 2 million people actually have bought the game. The other 13 million are just rebuying it every time they get banned.
Oh, my gosh.
Saturday morning on October 13th, they banned 20,000 players in the previous 24-hour period for like the Friday night period, basically. In total, BattleEye has banned 322,000 cheaters in Battlegrounds.
Crap.
Now,
I was going to say, remember, a lot of these people aren't just buying multiple copies of the game. They're paying for these like subscription hacks, which cost like $30 a month. And that's how they play the game, is always with hacks, which to me just seems so incredibly boring.
Maybe I'm just not a good enough player in the game that I don't notice the difference. I don't feel like I really run into hackers in Battlegrounds.
We actually ran into the first my first hacker.
First obvious
the
one,
other night. How many were left? Like 8 people?
Yeah, it was very small.
It was like 8 people were in this town, and we spotted him, but like he was moving like this.
He had speed hacks, and he killed all 4 of us in about 10 seconds, all with a headshot. Like, I watched the kill feed.
And I shot him several times, then he just like went, boop. You know, like the Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like ran down the hall really fast. That's what it looked like. I'm like, what the heck? And yeah, then he was like teabagging, and then like you could see him after like our dead bodies. He was just going like this.
I was gonna say, Jeremiah, one thing to remember too is that a lot of the hackers aren't going to be obvious. They're the ones who get banned in waves, and they're doing things like they'll have wall hacks on where there's just like a constant icon over every player within a mile of them, and they won't use like snap aiming or aiming lock on and stuff like that because that's a little bit more obvious. But they'll just have like radar, basically, just always going in the background and stuff like that, which is harder to detect for players fighting those people. But it's like, because that can be impossible to tell in Battlegrounds. Did someone hear your footsteps, or could they see your icon to the wall as you move back and forth? You know.
But the fact that, I mean, I've got 167 hours in the game, and I've yet to experience anything that feels like I got cheated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Where were most of those hackers at, Dave, according to the article? And that might play into why we've experienced it for the first time.
Vast majority of the hackers banned are from China.
And so we were actually playing on an Asian server when that happened.
And just statistically, that's the case for all multiplayer games, is the majority of hackers come from Russia, China, and Eastern Europe. It's very interesting. If you look at articles about the most popular paid hacks, those are the highest regions of hacking. Like, some Russian servers are just who has the best hacks right now.
My gosh.
It's pretty wild.
Oh, we did. Dave should have mentioned this during the Wildlands section. You were watching when that guy was playing, and he was pulling his camera way out.
Oh, on the balancing note, yeah, Joel, have you seen the second, third-person camera in the game? I
Dude,
didn't.
holy crap! So like, if you're Wildlands.
No. If you have your gun away, you do the shoulder, and you can pull out a little bit more. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
A little bit. That's like flying a drone over top of your head and looking at yourself.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That needs to get removed as well.
But you don't have your gun out, though.
Yeah, but
And it takes a while to get your gun out, too.
if you watch people use it, there's definitely, I think, abusive ways of using it. Running up to the middle and hiding in a bush with the camera pulled all the way out and just waiting with a ghillie suit on.
It's now time for the comment of the week, a part of the show where we read a comment. Dave, I see you have one as well.
Yes.
I have a comment this week. I put out a video on what I'm going to do with the Potato Masher series when the Xbox One X comes out. And I got this enlightened, well thought out comment on the video. Sony's garbage, and I hate the PlayStation 5 because it sucks. It's not out yet. We know literally nothing about it, but it does suck.
It's from the future.
And this guy hates it. Thank you for watching, commenting, and hopefully subscribing. Dave, what's your comment?
Well, I knew we had enough garbage on the podcast tonight, so I picked a good comment for my comment of the week instead of the usual trash comments. This is a comment on my Backyard Battlefield episode for the Nagant 1895 revolver, which has that very slow reload with the ejector rod. And in the video, I do the real life reload. We time it, and it was like 43 seconds to eject 7 times for all 7 rounds in the cylinder, and then load 7, close the cylinder back up, and ready to shoot again. 41, 42 seconds for that reload. Very, very long.
Like
I compared it seriously. And I compared it to the reloads in Battlefield 1 and the upcoming game Tannenberg. And I noticed in Battlefield 1, they reloaded the revolver the same way, where you empty all the empty brass out of the revolver first, and then you get your new ammo and you go around and fill it up. But I noticed in Tannenberg, what the soldier does is he ejects an empty shell, then puts a new round in, and then moves to the next cylinder location, ejects a shell, puts a new round in. And it just struck me as interesting that they had decided to do that method instead of doing the entire cylinder at once for emptying the brass. You do it one by one. I just wondered in the video why they had chosen to do that. Maybe it would be faster. Well, someone actually had an answer based off of old 1970s police training for revolvers. This came from, I already lost his name. Wow. Stand by. Victor. There we go. This comes from Victor, and it makes a lot of sense. The reason that in Tannenberg he's loading in a new round for every one that he ejects is, again, just like the police training. It's so if your reload gets interrupted, you can quickly spin to whatever you've loaded so far and have at least a round or two to defend yourself. Huh. So instead of having a completely empty revolver for that entire 41 seconds, it takes, like 7 or 8 seconds to eject one of the rounds and put a new one in. Then you at least have one ready to go in case of an emergency. So as you're going around and reloading, the more time that you have before you get ambushed or whatever, the more rounds you're going to have available. And that's why in Tannenberg, the soldier reloads them one by one with that new ammo as they're going around the cylinder. I was like, that's a really cool little factoid there. Some knowledge in the comment of the week.
And with that, thank you everybody for coming out and being part of Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I, of course,
and loot crates.
Yeah.
And cars.
I've been your host, Jeremiah.
Trash.
Tonight,
Occasionally guns.
Oh my, you guys just, I was going to do the rigmarole. We're going to do so good. You're stopping us from playing Battlegrounds, guys. Okay.
Go play Battlegrounds.
Not Battlegrounds, Wildlands. Sorry. What?
Hurry up.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, you're delaying.
I am.
How about if we each take one thing and say it at the same time?
I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah. Tonight, I am joined by Papa James.
What's up, everybody?
The best beard in the business, Dave.
Until John comes on one day.
And Joel, I don't have one for you yet, but I'll come up with something.
Joel,
The trash man.
owns all technology.
No,
I just got some new AirPods.
Hey, Joel,
that's
before we
not
go,
gonna, that's not going to be
Tic
it.
Tacs.
Oh boy.
you say Dick Tacs?
Tic Tacs. No,
Somebody
not
said
Dick
Tic
Tacs. No, that's
Small
that's
white, you
another-
just like
that's
popping them in your
something else.
mouth.
Oh, I have
Hey.
one last thing I need to say to Shane about Wildlands.
Can you say
Because-
it? Can you say it in your ghoul voice?
You ruined it. I was about to say, with Shane, he said he would never play Wildlands. Never. Never.
Oh, man.
You know, one of these nights, Gerard, we need to just play the regular campaign, just have him join, do some missions too, and then he will fully be immersed into Wildlands. Because he said, no, I'm never playing, not going to buy it. And now he's addicted to PvP. You know what I say to that, Shane? Gotcha!
I have some take home homework for Ultra Grunt, our dear friend Shane. Your assignment this week, or just whatever, is to go into the single player, get all your graphics options customized, get your controls customized, and I want to see that classic Shane private military contractor plaid shirt. I want your character to be specced out and ready for some co-op. Okay? That's your homework. Get your character and your controls set up so we can immerse you.
And with that,
You can even hold it together, Joel.
well, that's a treat for the video watchers. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, being part of the show. Write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. Tweet at casualshenaniga. Rate us on iTunes. Tell us what you thought about the main topic. Tell us about if there's any loot crates and games that you actually like and if it makes your experience any better. We don't believe you, but we'd like to hear your opinion. Thank you to Josh and Billy for coming on and making all Joel's Trashman dreams come true. And until next time, stay casual.